Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to the Buddhist Biohacker YouTube channel for our One Heart, One Earth Global Healing Summit Awakening the Sacred Body, where we are uplifting humanity all weekend. Thank you for joining the live. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and engage today in the comments. I hope you're all ready because we have Jessica Boots from California back for her practice this afternoon, and I'm so honored to hand it off to her once again. Jessica.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I had such a beautiful experience this morning getting to speak and meditate with you all. And I'm so excited for this breakout room, for this opportunity to dive deeper with you into the chakra system and how the chakras can be a gateway for our healing and how that healing can support our leadership, all under that big umbrella of how everything is all connected. So for today, our time, we're going to be spent really integrating the shadow. I know that there may be some folks in here that I didn't get the pleasure of connecting with this morning. So I'll take a few minutes just to ground us in the space and let you know what to expect, who I am, and I'd love to know who you are as well. Our really light agenda is that we're going to talk a little bit about what are the shadows of each chakra, in case you weren't there this morning. We're going to identify our tools for healing, and most of our time will be our practice. So if you don't already, this would be a great time to make sure that you have a space to move your body. If you have your carpet or your yoga mat, whatever it is that you want. We'll do a full practice. So we'll do some sun salutations. We'll be standing, we'll be sitting, we'll be laying down. So you'll want whatever props support your own body. And then at the very end, we'll, talk about how do we move forward, right? So I'll offer some journal prompts. And just depending on kind of when we wrap up, we'll let the practice take as long as it needs to. I'll try to leave a little bit of time at the end for question and answer or insights, right? So that you can engage through the chat about what came up for you in your practice or what insights were revealed as you moved your body and made connections between the poses and the chakras. So if we haven't met, I'm Jessica. I'm Jessica Boots. I live in California. I am a leadership and wellness coach. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm a mama. I have a little one who's starting kindergarten in the fall. I'm a longtime educator, so learning and growth is my jam. It's just what I've spent my whole life really dedicating my service to. And it's a beautiful time in this current season. I'm taking all of that knowledge as an educator, the growth and healing that I've experienced as a human who experienced loss as a child and loss on my way to motherhood, and all of the wisdom of the yoga practice, and have sort of weaved that into the way that I show up in service in the world, in my coaching and yoga and writing. My first book is coming out in August called It's All Connected. So I'd love to know who is here in this space. Take a moment to just introduce yourself if you're here. Say hi. You can drop your name, maybe where you are in the world, or anything else that feels important to share. And while I give a moment for people to drop in some names and locations, hi, Marilyn, welcome back. I'll just very briefly share that this morning we did a meditation where we got to move through the chakras, and we have a leadership theme that's attached to each chakra. We also have elements to explore and parts of the body to explore. And what we're going to do this afternoon is really focusing on what healing can we dive into, allow to happen in each energy center based on the shadow that exists there. So I had mentioned them in this morning, but if you kind of focus on the root chakra, that's our foundation, that's our steadiness, our stability. The shadow that we'll work with there is fear. Hi, Karen. So fear is the shadow of that root chakra. In the sacral chakra, that low belly area, that's our one-on-one relationships, our creativity, abundance, pleasure. The shadow that we get to explore there is guilt, right? If I hold a boundary, do I then feel guilty about it, right? If I'm showing up in a certain relationship, what are those dynamics? What did I learn as a child about who I should be in different spaces? And then what guilt shows up as I engage with the world. We talked a little bit about the third chakra, that center of confidence and power and transformation. The shadow is shame, right? So worthiness, do I deserve to take up this much space? Embarrassment, all of that lives in that spot, part of the body. We talked about the heart chakra and how the shadow is grief. And it's really unresolved grief, right? Grief that we haven't found a way to integrate and to weave into our story, into our own narratives, into what shapes us to be the people that we are today. And then the throat, right? Our center of communication, listening, speaking. The shadow is lies. Third eye, our shadow is illusion, right? Seeing things not as they are. And then attachment for the crown. Okay, so it's just a little review of what those shadows are that we're going to work with. So I want to talk about tools, right? The tools that we have for this particular practice. There's so many tools, so many modalities that we can use as yogis to go inward and learn more about ourselves and our own healing. The 4 that I want to offer for this practice, number 1 is sensation. So when we're in different postures, you might notice the mind getting busy, right? Stories of fear, stories of guilt, stories of shame. And a tool for presence, a tool for healing is going to be sensation. Where do I feel sensation in the body? Is it my muscles? Are they warm? Are they tingly? Is something dull or hot or cold, right? Just what does it feel like in my body in a really practical way? So sensation is 1. Number 2 is breath, right? I am breathing in. I am breathing out. So sometimes when we start to work with the shadow, the mind gets busy and says, no, I don't want to go there. And then it starts to take us either into the future or into the past or distracting us, right? Let's make my grocery list. Let's talk about my to-dos, all of these other things, anywhere but here, anywhere but this sensation. And so sensation number 1, breath number 2, not in any order, but just another one, can be a tool to keep you here, right? I am in warrior 2. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. Our third tool that I want to offer for today is curiosity. So even if you've been in downward facing dog a gazillion, million, billion times in your whole life, I invite you to pretend and get curious around what this particular one feels like, right? So much of the essence of the practice is around presence and a beginner's mind. And so that curiosity, especially if we do notice the mind wandering, get curious about, well, why is that happening? Is there something here that is requiring my healing? Can I move towards that with curiosity and maybe compassion? So you have sensation, breath, curiosity. And the last one is agency. Okay, again, not in any particular order, but agency just means this is your practice. And number 1, I can't see you, right? I know that you're here because of your comments, but you are in charge of your own body. If we are in a posture and it's too intense, it doesn't feel right, it's not where you think you should be in that moment, then please honor your own experience and back out of the pose, offer yourself a different pose. So just from the jump, naming that you have agency, it is your practice. Okay, so those are our tools. I'm going to stop talking because you came here to do yoga. So let's do yoga. I will invite us all to find a place onto our yoga mats or in our yoga space. And I'm going to find my way onto the mat too. I'm not practicing with music. I'm just going to keep it simple. If you prefer to have some light music in your background, you're welcome to, have that playing on your phone or something if you like. Let's begin. Let's find child's pose. So for child's pose, if it's supportive for your body to have the knees wide, you can begin with the knees wide. You maybe prefer to have the knees close together. You can let the forehead rest onto the mat. We'll just take a few deep breaths to begin. Finding your Ujjayi breath, if you're familiar. Slow and steady breath in through the nose and out through the nose. So here in child's pose, notice what's touching the mat. Feel the hands and the shins. We're super grounded here, connecting with the root chakra, the Muladhara chakra, where we lead with purpose. And then we think about the shadow of this particular chakra being fear. In order to work with that, we want to cultivate a sense of safety and security, groundedness in the body. So take a few breaths, maybe repeating to yourself that I am here, I am safe. And child's pose is a place where you can return at any point. So as we continue on in our practice, if you feel a need to reground, recommit to that safety, child's pose is always available. And when you're ready, we'll inhale up into tabletop. Tuck the toes under and find downward facing dog. And so staying again with that root chakra, notice what's touching the ground, the hands and the feet. And the root chakra deals with the legs, correlates to the part of the body that are the legs and the feet. And so keeping it nice and simple, take a few breaths into the backs of the legs. And on your next inhale, bend the knees and look forward. As you exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Find a forward fold at the top of your mat. We'll inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold completely. Root down through your feet. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Arms reach, palms touch, look up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, reach your arms up, press down through the feet. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank pose, and you can either lower halfway down or all the way down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, hands to the mat, open the heart. Exhale, draw it back, downward facing dog or rest in child's pose. 5 breaths. Return to that sense of steadiness. So the root chakra, that fear, sometimes comes from unmet needs. So maybe considering in your foundation, what needs were met, what needs were not. And how did your foundation influence or impact some of the ways that you now show up in the world? Seeing it from a place of scarcity or a place of abundance. Root down through the hands, root down from the feet. Take a breath in. At the bottom of the exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press down through the feet, planting the roots. Come all the way up. Hands right at the heart. Exhale. Root down through the feet. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, and lower, either halfway or all the way. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. So a question you might consider, you might ask yourself now, is how can I meet my own needs now in my life as it is? What is my foundation? Where do I feel safe and steady? Where am I able to remember all that I have? The ways I might slow down, create a sense of safety and security in my own body, in my own home. So that that affirmation of I have rings true. Take a deep breath in and let it go. On your inhale, let's reach your right leg long behind you. As you exhale, step your right foot through in between your hands. We're going to spin the left heel flat, press down through the feet, and open up into warrior 2. Your front knee is bent. Your arms reach out long from the sides. And so staying with that steadiness of the feet and the legs, begin to bring some awareness into your hips. Moving into that second chakra, the sacral chakra, where we lead with creativity. Once you feel steady in the feet, turn the right palm up. Let's inhale, reverse warrior. Reach the right arm up and back. And as you exhale, flow right into extended side angle. With the right elbow come to the thigh, left arm reaches over. Let's do that a couple times. We'll inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Again, inhale, reverse, feeling into that water element in your own body. Sense of abundance and flow and creativity, pleasure. Exhale, extended. Good. Inhale, warrior two. As you exhale, bring both hands to the mat. You can step to downward facing dog. If you want a little bit more heat today, you could come forward into plank and lower. Otherwise, just stay in downward facing dog. When you're ready, let's lift the left leg long behind you. As you exhale, step the foot through. Spin your right heel flat, open up into warrior two. So again, the one-on-one relationships of this second chakra can bring up that, shadow of guilt. And so maybe getting curious around what relationships formed, how you understand your role in different relationships, whether that's as a parent, as a caregiver, as a friend, as a colleague. Are those relationships nourishing to you? Does your energy flow abundantly? Or would some boundaries help that feel more supportive? Go ahead and turn your left palm up. Let's find that little flow. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Again, inhale, reverse. Exhale, extended side angle. Last time, inhale, reverse. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, hands to the mat. And step back to downward facing dog. And again, either come through a flow or stay grounded in downward facing dog. And let's take a cleansing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then let's come forward into plank pose. Plank pose might have the legs straight. You can also bring the knees down and release the toes away from you. So moving into that third chakra, Manipura, color is yellow, element is fire. So feel some heat begin to warm up from the center of you, that empowered place. The shadow that shows up here when we talk about our worthiness is shame. So even in the simplicity of which pose do I choose, notice if there's an inner critic that starts to chit-chat about what we might do that would make us more or less worthy. Take a deep breath and let it go. You can either stay in high plank or with the knees down. We're going to walk the right hand to the middle of the mat and offer side plank to the body. So I'm showing a modified version here with the knee down, left arm up. If you want more heat in the body, more intensity, you would keep the legs together and move to the side. So here we're dealing with like twists in the core and strengthening, right? Finding that growth edge. So maybe getting curious around what stories or experiences shaped how you understood your own worth. Sometimes stories of productivity or beauty can come to the surface. Take a breath in, and let's switch sides. Finding your version of side plank on the left. And working with shame, getting to understand it. Notice what arises. But then stoking our own fire with our own knowledge of self, our strengths, our gifts, our unique way of showing up and offering service to the world. Take a breath in. Exhale, plank pose to either downward facing dog or child's pose. 5 breaths. You might offer some healing affirmations for the third chakra. I can. I am able. I am resilient. I transform. Beautiful. Let's meet up with the knees on the earth. For just a moment, sit back on the heels, reach both arms up. Take a gentle twist to the right. So when we're in this third chakra, twists help us remember the transformative nature, the digestion that takes place here. Inhale through the center. And exhale. So as we come through just a couple rounds of simple twists, just notice if there's anything you want to release, anything that's come up from those first 3. Inhale through the center. Maybe it's an old story. Let it go on the exhale to the right. Inhale through the center. Again, exhale to the left. Old stories, old patterns, old identities. One more round. Inhale through the center. Exhale to the right. Inhale through the center. Last time to the left. Good. Inhale through the center. Exhale downward, facing up. Let's inhale, extend the right leg long. Exhale, lightly step the right foot through. Warrior 1 with the feet. So glue the back foot down. It's a little bit wider, maybe shorter stance than Warrior 2. That back foot is a little bit more at a 45-degree angle. We're going to take the hands behind you. Option to either interlace the fingers. Maybe you grab opposite wrists or elbows, just depending on what's available. Draw the knuckles down and lift up through the heart, moving into the heart chakra. Exhale, humble warrior. Bring your heart forward inside the right knee, crown of the head reaching down. So in the heart chakra, anahata, right, the color is green, the element is air, center of love, giving, receiving, vulnerability. And that shadow to work with is grief. Press down through the feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Arms reach. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back, either downward facing dog. If you want more heat, you could take a vinyasa. If you want more rest, come to child's pose. 3 breaths. And just notice what comes up for you, even at the mention of the word grief. Other loved ones that enter the mind, stages of life, or former professional endeavors, the grief of the world around us. It can be heavy when we tune in to what grief is present. When you're ready, let's take it on the other side. Inhaling, left leg long. Exhale, lightly step it through. Setting up the feet for warrior one. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, find your arm or hand position behind you. Draw down through the hands, the wrists, the elbows, heart lifts. Exhale, dive forward, humble warrior. Sometimes when we're integrating grief, requires acknowledging. Sometimes it requires forgiveness. Sometimes it requires time just to sit with, acknowledge, see, process, write about, cry about our grief. Acknowledge those that we cared enough about to miss. Press down through the feet. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to down dog. Again, either flow or rest or ground, coming back to the safety, the security of that root chakra. Maybe acknowledging, I love, I offer, I receive. When you're ready, let's bring the shins to the mat. Sit back on the heels. And we'll come into camel pose. So another heart opener, but bringing our awareness into the throat chakra as well. So camel pose could be really subtle, staying grounded with the hips on the heels, hands to the sacrum, opening across the heart, lifting the chin. Or it could be a little bit more intense, standing up on the shins, maybe tucking the toes, lifting the heart, exposing the throat. It can be a little vulnerable. Please take care of your neck. And take a couple of deep breaths. In the center of communication, all that we say and hear into the world, the truth that we want to share, and what it feels like to hear words from others. As you inhale, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, sit back on the heels or between the heels or finding a cross-legged seat. If it's safe, close the eyes or let the gaze be soft. We're also going to make some sound. We'll come through 3 ohms to allow the energy to move through, to use your voice as a way to transmute healing energy. So find a position for the hands. Maybe they're on the legs or over the heart and belly. We'll come through 3 ohms. Take a deep breath in. With the energy here in that throat chakra, you might just consider what stories you were told about your voice and creative expression. And what words you could offer to yourself to support that healing. We're going to move into the third eye. Let's move our legs to the side. I'll turn back this way so it's easier to see me. Feet in front of you, knees bent. Just a little bit of pressure. The two eyes are going to sort of sit into the knees. That way the outer eyes can close. You can wrap your arms around your shins, grabbing your elbows, turning this awareness inward. The third eye, the seat of intuition, element of light. The shadow is illusion, seeing things not clearly, not as they are. You might get curious around old stories about your dreams and visions for yourself or for the world. If you were ever told those weren't worthy of pursuing, if those were crazy, if others couldn't see or understand your vision. You might also consider where in your life maybe you're not seeing things clearly. What would it take to see your own life with more clarity, with more love, with more abundance? What would it feel like to trust your own intuition? When you're ready, begin to uncurl and find either Shavasana on your back, extending the body out, or you could find a seated meditation. Either one will connect with the crown chakra, Sahasrara chakra. So take a moment and really settle your own body. Either finding that comfortable seated position or that position where the body can rest, laying down, the legs and arms extended. Crown chakra is all about our connection to all things, all people, connection to our truest self, that conscious self, capital S self inside. Connection to the divinity that lives within all beings. The shadow that we work with here is attachment, right? When we're attached to our physical items or identities, the titles that we hold or the age that we are, the way our body looks. What is mine? And when we're attached to those things, it keeps us separate. And so when we work with the chakras, we're invited to release that attachment. We're invited to release all that we think we know, to trust, to surrender, right, as we're doing in this final posture, to allow things to be as they are. So you might consider, what are you holding on to? What is asking to be let go of or released? What would it feel like to trust That might be trusting your highest self, trusting spirit, trusting God, trusting nature, trusting the process. Take a very deep breath into your whole body. And let it go. We'll rest in stillness for a few moments, just allowing the postures and the breath and the inquiries to settle into the body, the wisdom to emerge and surface, the old, outdated stories to be released and left behind. So I'll hold us here in silence for just a couple minutes before calling us back together. And begin to deepen your breath. Invite small movements into your fingers and your toes. Circle out your ankles and wrists. And gently rock your head side to side. Reach your arms and legs in opposite directions. Take a full body stretch. Maybe a sigh if that feels good. You can bend your knees and plant your feet on the earth. And gently roll over onto one side, using your bicep as a pillow and taking a deep, relaxing breath here. When you're ready, press the earth away and come on up to a tall, comfortable, seated position. Maybe let your eyes stay closed. You can bring the hands either onto the lap or over the heart or over the belly. Just take a moment to Show yourself some gratitude and feel the effects of your practice. And bring the hands together in front of the heart with a slight bow of your chin towards this prayer. May the benefits of this practice help us integrate the shadow, help us see the parts of ourselves that may be asking for more love, more trust, more safety, more permission, more confidence, more bold communication, to help us feel more whole. We ask that this work ripples outside of ourselves, that when we take the time to heal old stories, to bring the parts of ourselves that may be harder to love, and we bring it in and wrap our arms around it, that we're able to do the same for others. We pray that when we find a way to see and truly love our whole beings in our full humanity and recognize the connection between ourselves and others, that we can extend that compassion to everyone we meet. May the benefits of this practice bring more peace to ourselves and to each other, to all beings everywhere. We'll close with a final Om. Take a deep breath in. Bowing in gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you.